They talk about black girl magic. When you really find yourself and you know what you're capable of, you know where you're going, you know what you're meant to do, that is a power like no other. And that is exactly what my goal is, to help you get to that space or back to that space if you've ever been there. What's up, ladies? Welcome back to another episode of I'm Jess Sayin, the podcast where we talk about real and raw conversations on a weekly basis. I am Jess, your host and your favorite accountability coach, and you have officially entered into a safe space. So today I wanted to talk about something that has really been on me heavy, trying to figure out, the direction I want to take my podcast in and really trying to niche it down. And I think I've really been trying to avoid saying this out loud because I was in the space to where it's like, I want everyone to feel welcome. While everyone is welcome, I would never turn anyone away or discourage anyone from listening to any of my episodes or engaging in any kind of way. Everyone definitely is welcome. But as far as the discussions go, this is a platform that is dedicated specifically to Black women. This is definitely a safe space for Black women. This is something that is very important to me because I feel like Black women do not have a lot of safe spaces where they can be real and be raw and really express themselves and just, be somewhere where you can get an understanding and know you're not alone when it comes to certain things. Sometimes everyone doesn't have a huge circle where you can talk to someone that actually relates to your situation. And so that is what this space is for. With that being said, I also want to let it be known that Black men are welcome here as well because they are a big part of our lives. Even if you don't date Black men romantically, if you are a Black woman, more than likely you have a Black father or a Black brother or a Black cousin. So they definitely would be playing a major role into your life. And you are welcome here as well because we love you, Black men. I know we fight hard with you, but we love you harder. And I just want, you guys to know that. So with that being said, welcome again to I'm Just Sayin, the podcast made for Black women by a Black woman. I don't care how you got here. I don't care if you just stumbled across my podcast while you were on your lunch break. I don't care if one of your homegirls sent it to you because they felt like it was a message that you needed. I don't care how you got here. I don't care if you just felt like I want to hear something real and I know that I could come here to this space to hear about some real topics. I just want you to know that whatever the reason is, you are in the right place. So if you are listening to this right now, I just want you to know that I see you. I am you. I know what it feels like to invest your energy into other things, into other people, and still feel like there's something missing. What it feels like to always have to be the strong friend, the reliable one, the one that everyone can lean on, and you always have to keep it together for everybody else except for yourself. So this space is for us. This is where we're going to be honest, we're going to be real, and we are always going to be accountable. Because if there's one thing I know for sure, is that when a Black woman truly finds herself and she knows how to stand in her power and she's comfortable in it, yeah, the world is definitely not ready for that kind of magic. They talk about Black girl magic. When you really find yourself and you know what you're capable of, you know where you're going, you know what you're meant to do, that is a power like no other. And that is exactly what my goal is, to help you get to that space or back to that space if you've ever been there. That's what we're striving for every day. So yes, it's going to get uncomfortable sometimes because we're keeping it real. Yes, I may shake the table a little bit because it's going to be very raw. Yes, you may not always be the person that was done wrong because we are taking accountability. because that is what you have to do to get to the space that you are trying to be in. And listen, I know that you're the woman that's trying to check every box. You're trying to make sure you have the career in order. You're trying to make sure you have your relationship in order. You're trying to make sure you get all the responsibilities taken care of. Even when you do all of that, you still find yourself being unfulfilled. One of the unfortunate things that I feel like a lot of Black women learned while growing up is being strong, being a strong woman, be a strong Black woman, be proud to be a strong Black woman. And I just do not think that that was very beneficial for us, because while we were being so strong, we're struggling to set boundaries we're allowing people to somewhat take advantage of us because we don't know what it means to be strong. When you're younger and you're growing up and someone tells you to be a strong woman, you're thinking that it means for you to endure what other people are doing to you. It's meant for you to just accept mistreatment from other people, not to say anything. We know how these things go. We know how it goes in a lot of Black family households. Things happen. You don't tell anybody. You don't tell anybody what goes on in this house. Nothing that happens in this house leaves this house. You're taught and you're wired to not reach out for help. Instead, you're taught to be strong. And like I said, yes, we will be talking about topics that are directed to Black women, but a lot of these things will also apply to Black men because they were taught the same thing. Unfortunately, they were taught not to cry. They were taught not to let anyone see you sweat. They were taught, to just take things on as well, be the man of the household, even though they're only 10 and they're being raised by a single mother. Unfortunately, a lot of our adolescence years were stripped from us, whether it be your parents putting responsibilities on you that you did not deserve to get, whether it was your innocence being taken away from you, whether it was you just not feeling the love that you feel like you deserve, or you just not being seen. It's so easy for us to criticize each other, for us to talk down on each other, for us to not be in support of each other when we see each other struggling, and maybe you just don't understand that person's story, or maybe you just have not taken the time to know them and know their story. You much rather just come to make your own opinions based on the few things that you know about someone. And the sad part is we are more alike than not. No, your story may not be exactly the same, but abuse is abuse. Mistreatment is mistreatment. It doesn't matter what road you took to get to it. It still led you to the same space. It still gave you the same heartbreak. It still caused the same pain. So I encourage you, when it comes to your fellow Black women, whether you feel like they deserve it or not, give them some grace. Now, I'm not saying to allow everyone to be in your life. I'm not saying for you to allow everyone to be in your space and treat you any kind of way. But I will say, just give them grace. Don't always think the worst of someone, especially someone that looks like you. Don't always hop straight to the negative. Don't always respond to the bad things. Congratulate them as well. Give them a hand clap when you see them doing well. Don't just wait to see somebody fall and say, well, dang, that's a long drop. No. When you see someone climbing, if you can reach back and give them a helping hand to lift them up, you should do that, because wherever you are in life, there's another Black woman or Black man that is absolutely above you. And if they could reach back and give you a helping hand, you would want that. You would want that kind of support. So give the support that you feel like you want for you to the next person. I started this podcast because I've lived the struggles. I've lived the struggles that we don't always talk about. I've witnessed how hard it is for other Black women to find spaces to feel safe enough to be vulnerable, to say, I'm struggling, to admit I don't have it all figured out, to be able to whisper to someone to say, I need a little bit of help. It's so hard to find those spaces. And let's just keep it real for a second. Even if you do make it to your happy ending, I can bet you that it was not an easy road for you to get there. We fight through the survival mode. We wrestle with old wounds. We hold things down when we really just want to be held. But let me tell you this loud and clear. You deserve to feel seen. You deserve to be heard. You deserve to feel whole. And once again, that is exactly why we are here, to unpack these things that we constantly carry with us on a daily basis, to build those healthier relationships, starting with the one that you have with yourself. And we are here to constantly remind each other that we do not have to do it alone. This is a community based around love. Not fake love, not that fake love where you scroll, double tap, and you keep scrolling. We really are going to feed into each other. We are going to learn to not only love the good sides of ourselves, but to also love the ugly sides of ourselves. Because without the ugly sides, what are the good? You cannot have the good without the bad. And if it's something ugly that you don't like and you have control to change it or fix it or make it better, we are here to encourage you to do that as well. This is not about making the picture perfect life. This is about making the life that you know that you deserve, and it will not look the same for everyone else. That is why it's so important not to judge. It's so important not to judge, because just because something works for you does not mean it's going to work for the next person. Just because you dislike a way of living does not mean that everyone else around you should dislike that way of living. You have every right to choose your own path, but do not waste your time trying to choose the path of other people, especially not people that you claim to love, because all that is going to do is push them further and further away from you. And then you'll wake up one day trying to figure out, how come such and such doesn't call me no more? How come they don't come see me no more? How come we don't talk the way we used to? You've pushed them away through your judgmental eyes, from your hypocritical speaking, because you'll tell them that the way that they're living is wrong because you don't like it. But if you look in the mirror, the way you're living is wrong as well. And why is that? Because nobody is perfect. We all make mistakes. If you want to look at someone, if you want to critique someone, if you want to look for changes that can be made to someone, start with looking at yourself. That is something that this world has not yet grasped. We want the world to be better, but we don't want to change ourselves. If everyone worked on being a better person, the world would be a better place. But it's so easy to look at other people, pick out the flaws in other people, and tell everyone else what they should be doing better, how they should be living, when your life is not right. We want to make our community better. We need to be better. You want to make your relationship better. Stop pointing out everything that your partner does wrong. Figure out what it is you could do to support them or show them a better way. And if they are not receptive to it, then maybe they're just not the person for you. Stop wasting all of your energy trying to mold a person and make them be who you want them to be. Because while you're working so hard to change them, you're really changing you. Because the resistance that they're going to give you is going to turn you into a person that you do not want to be. So if you don't already understand what this platform, what this podcast, what my brand is all about, I want you to know that it is about honesty. It is about accountability. It is about a sisterhood. It is about love. We're talking about self-awareness. We're talking about boundaries. We're talking about healing from the toxic relationships, choosing better partners, building real friendships, and most importantly, learning how to put ourselves first without feeling guilty. I'll be sharing real life stories with you guys, whether it be my own personal stories or whether it's someone else's stories that have written in, possibly asking for advice. We're going to go over some lessons and some real strategies that's going to help you get back in control of your life and of your relationships. And sometimes I do want you to know I'm going to tell you things that you don't want to hear, but you need to hear it because that's what real love looks like. Love is honest, love is kind, love is understanding, and love is real. Oh, and let me just go ahead and point this out. This is not going to be one of those spaces where we're going to sugarcoat everything. Like I said, we're real, we're raw. I'm not going to be telling you, girl, go ahead and do what makes you happy. This is not one of those kind of spaces. Because let's be for real, some of us are still making choices that are keeping us stuck. You're the reason why you're stuck. Your choices are the reason why you're stuck. Yeah, I'm sorry to break it to you. It's not everybody else. It's not everybody else. It's you, sis. You are the reason why you're stuck. And that's okay. That's okay, because that's what we're here for, to help you get unstuck. Because the real thing is, you're probably, I'm not going to even say probably, you're still entertaining men that you should have deleted and blocked months ago. Yes, I said it. Everybody is not meant to continue to be your friend. With that being said, I do want to point this out. Why do you date a man, realize he's a shitty man, and say, you know what? He doesn't make a great partner, but he'll make a great friend. We'll just continue to be friends. We're not doing that, because then I start to question, well, how do you qualify your friends? If he was a shitty partner, what would make him a great friend? If you guys were dating and he always sent you the voicemail, why would you want that to be your friend? If he was someone that you couldn't even call if you had a flat tire, why would you want that to be your friend? If he was someone that lied to you on a consistent basis, lied to you, period, why would you want that to be your friend? And yes, I say delete and block because let's be real. Some of us are not as strong as we believe ourselves to be. And when you're hormonal, or it's just one of those days and you're scrolling on the phone and you tired of scrolling on TikTok, all the jokes and the little videos aren't funny anymore. And you start to feel that little tingle. You start to feel that heat building up and you start saying, who can I text? Who can I talk to? Oh, wow. Everybody's so busy. Everybody who I talk to is busy. I wonder what Dre doing. Let me just say, hey, I don't want nothing. And then Dre is available. Dre is in the area. Dre want to come through. You get my drift? You see how we keep the cycle going? So that's why I say, now this is just me. Now you can do it however you want to do it. Do what works for you. But I'm just trying to tell you, if it ain't been working up to this point, you probably need to try something else, because I'm a delete and block kind of girl. At least until I get you completely out of my system. And by the time you're completely out of my system, I've moved on and talking to somebody else. Yeah, that's how that works. So not only are you holding on to those men that you should have let go a very long time ago, you are also holding on to those friendships where they're feeling more of a competition than a community. Seems like you guys are battling it out about who's doing what better, who looks better, whose man is better, rather than really trying to build each other up, trying to support each other, trying to be in each other's corner, not judging each other. It's looking more like a competition. But you still call her your friend. She's still your bestie. Is she really though? Is she really though? Is she really though? So now I know you're probably wondering, what's next? How do we start changing our lives? How do we start being better together? But don't worry because I got y'all covered. I got you covered. I am creating tools, challenges that are going to help guide you through this transformation stage. Not only can you always reference every episode that I have ever created, you can also catch me on all my social media platforms where we will start to have some live conversations discussing different topics, maybe some things that are going on in real time, or you can just drop in and ask for some advice. I am definitely happy to help you. And something super exciting is the Telegram community that I am working on building right now as we speak. And that is just a space where we can all convene and talk together and get advice from each other. And I have a little secret. Everyone in the community will get first dibs on my new text coaching program. I am so excited, you guys. There's going to be more information to come about that as well. That is why you want to make sure that you are subscribed to my email list. Do not wait. I am telling you, before you leave this page, make sure you go down to the bottom, click on the link to subscribe, because you don't want to miss out on all the exciting things that we have coming up. There's going to be multiple challenges that's going to help push you and guide you through your journey. And again, I will always be here to support each and every one of you. And just like I'm here to support you, you guys are going to be supporting me. Talking to you guys also helps me. So I am super excited. So before we close out, I do just want to take this time to remind you guys that this journey that we're on, we are taking it together. You don't have to figure it out all alone. And if nobody has told you today, I see you, I value you, and I want you to win. So do me a favor. If this episode resonated with you in any kind of way, please make sure you subscribe to the page, share it with another Black woman that needs to hear it, and let's start holding each other accountable with love, of course. Because we are not just meant to survive in this life. We are meant to thrive. We are meant to create beautiful things. And when I say beautiful things, beautiful memories, legacies to be left behind with our Black men. I know it is a thing now, where there's a lot of biracial couples, but there is a special beauty that comes with Black love. It's a love like no other. Like I said before, we fight hard, but we love even harder. And we need to start loving even more, because the more we love on each other, the less time we'll have to fight with each other. And once again, that's not just when it comes to your romantic relationships. That's when it comes to all of your relationships. Choose love. And sometimes love includes you walking away from something. Because the more you force yourself to be in a space, the more you start to undo all of the work that you've done to get yourself there. All the time and energy you've spent to become the person that you are today. Even though the person that you are today, you're not completely satisfied with it. But when we start trying to force things, we start to change ourselves. We start to take steps backwards. And you start to becoming a person that you no longer like. You no longer like this person. It's going to start to remind you of that little girl that didn't feel loved. It's going to start to remind you of that little girl that felt neglected. It's going to start to remind you of that teenage girl that did not feel beautiful. It's going to remind you of that Black woman that was abused in her early years. It's going to start to remind you of all of those things because you're fighting against a brick wall. So I encourage every single one of you, when you are faced with an issue, it's okay to fight, but try your best to fight it with love. And don't look at it as you're fighting and loving on the other person. Look at it as you're fighting and loving on yourself. You're doing what's best for you, what's best for your body, what's best for your mental, your physical, your spirit, what's best for you. Choose love. I know we can say it's easier said than done, but it's really not. Sometimes it's so easy for us to lash out because we harbor so many feelings and we're just waiting for that one thing to tip us over and we just let it all out. Some of us are walking ticking time bombs. That's why it's so easy for you to be triggered. That person that triggered you, more than likely, they didn't cause all of that. These are things, feelings, emotions, experiences that you have just been gathering. You've just been throwing them in your bag. You just like, oh, okay, throw it over here, throw it over there. And they come along and they just tip it over just a little bit and everything falls out. But you see, if we start to unpack those things, we can help you get to where you're trying to be. Now, my job as a coach is to help you see the vision and we make an effective plan for you to get there. But when it comes to you unpacking trauma, any type of toxic, traumatizing experiences, I encourage you to seek out professional assistance. And I know therapy, people hate to hear therapy. They think you're crazy. They think you're automatically going to be put on medication. But listen, I go to therapy every other week. And that's one of the conversations I look forward to the most. I'd be so excited. I'd be having things in my mind. Like, I can't wait to talk to my therapist about this. I can't wait to talk to my therapist about that, because we're not always sitting there crying, talking about sad stuff. We talk about regular everyday life. Like, sometimes you just talk about what's going on in your day. And like I said, you do need that unbiased person that's going to help you see clearly, because that's how you get to understanding who you are. We can easily understand that other people change, but you change as well. And every time you change, you have to take the time to intentionally get to know yourself again. That's the only way you'll be able to understand why you're moving the way you're moving, why all of a sudden things that you used to like, you don't like them anymore. That's the only way you're going to get to really know yourself. And then you can understand why you're attracting the kind of people that you're attracting. Why are you latching yourself onto, people that you probably normally would not latch yourself onto? Pay attention to your eating habits. Pay attention to your sleeping habits. Are you feeling a little depressed? You really have to pay attention to those things. You have to be self-aware. Know where you're at. Your therapist can help you deal with the things that help get you there. And I'm here to help you get to that next step. It's a bridge. You're in the middle. Your professional therapist is over here. And I'm over here. And together we're going to make a beautiful, beautiful life for you. It's going to be amazing. And if you are afraid to, go to therapy for the first time, I just really want to encourage you to give it at least 3 sessions. The first one is like, I'm sitting down with a stranger, not really going to talk too much. The second one, you guys have broken the ice a little bit. You probably are getting a little bit comfortable. And I just want to say, just like how we do in relationships, it's okay to bounce around a little bit. You may not always find the right therapist the first time. So don't just give up because the first person didn't work out. It is okay. It is okay. So definitely seek help, seek assistance, be intentional about the things you want for your life. Be intentional about that. And I promise you, you are going to see results. You just got to keep going. The same way your personal trainer tells you, listen, you can't come work out one day and think that you're going to have you're going to walk out of here and be summertime fine. You can't do that. You have to be consistent. And that's the same thing that goes with this. If you come on and you're my client, you have to give it time. You have to be consistent. I can only do what you allow me to do. I can't coach you if you're not showing up. Your therapist can't help you heal all of those childhood traumas if you are not seeking out the help. And I got a little secret for you. That huge rug that you have, where you've tucked away all of those traumas, all of those bad experiences, that rug is gonna lift. And when it lifts, I would much rather you have the tools to help you healthily maneuver through dealing with those emotions than for you to be out there in those waters alone, dealing with all of that trauma. It's time to be proactive, not reactive. Don't wait until your ship is sinking before you try and put your life jacket on. Put it on now. We're here to move differently because we want something different. That is why we're here. That is why you're still listening to this. And I can go on and on and on. So I want to go ahead and wrap this up by saying, I'm proud of you. Whatever it is that you're doing, I'm proud of you. Because like I said, I know you had to fight hard as hell to get there. But we're going to keep on pushing. We're going to keep on moving along. And I just want to remind you to continue to move in love. I'm just saying, but sis, what are you saying?